Diplomacy in Rome Remastered is broken, and let me tell you how. The problem is the compensation mechanic that they've introduced. From what I understand, they introduced this new mechanic to fix an issue in the original Rome, where you would agree to a ceasefire with a faction, but then the next turn they would declare war on you straight away again because you still held on to one of their settlements. So now instead you can offer them compensation in exchange for the ceasefire to settle any grievances, and it will reset the AI faction's relationship with you back to zero so you won't get stuck in an endless loop. So that sounds great on paper, but it doesn't work. I'm currently playing a Julii campaign on very hard difficulty. I'm at war with the Greeks, Gaul, Britannia, Spain and Carthage. I've conquered almost all of Gaul, as you can see, but fighting so many opponents my forces are getting a little stretched, so I want to do some diplomacy, get some ceasefires in effect to regroup and regather. So first of all, down here I have Spain. As you can see, they're attacking one of my settlements. I have some forces down here, but I'd rather have this army somewhere else where they might be a bit more useful. So I want to settle a ceasefire with them. To do this, I have my diplomat here.
Be quick.
I can offer a ceasefire. Very demanding. Now, I can't offer them compensation, but I can request compensation, which means that technically they owe me for transgressions against me. Now this is the first problem with the mechanic. At the moment it's very demanding, so me asking for peace with no strings is demanding. But then if I offer compensation, so I ask for peace and I ask for money, that's now changed to balanced, which makes no sense, because why would that be a more reasonable request to them to ask for peace and money than it would be to just ask for peace? That doesn't really make any sense straight away. But no matter what I add to this, they will never accept the compensation for the ceasefire. So I can offer trade rights, I can offer map information, I can basically offer them basically anything. So let's just give them 1,000 for 10 turns. That's generous.
Surely you just...
They don't accept it. I can literally offer them anything and they won't accept it. So you might think, well, why would they agree to a ceasefire where they are in an advantageous position, which is fair enough, but let me take you over to the Greeks on this side. So over here the Greeks have been attacking me in this northern area of Italy. I've just defeated them in a big battle, and as you can see here they have very little troops, an absolutely tiny stack here and hardly any garrison, and I've got a pretty big stack here full of early legionary cohorts and Roman cavalry, so you know that's then pretty much done for. So you'd think that would be a good time for them to accept a ceasefire, and also at the same time the Brutii have pretty much taken all of Greece, only Sparta remains and Apollonia. So yeah, they're in a pretty dire situation, so you think ceasefire in their best interests, but let me show you.
Be quick.
Offer them a ceasefire, and this time I can offer them compensation. I can give them the money, and then I can offer them trade rights, map information. I can make them a single payment of whatever, 2,000, regular tribute, 1,000 for 10 turns. Very generous.
Surely you jest.
And they reject it. They don't want it. I can offer it again with the city that they want, trade rights. Give them 5,000, 6,000. Map information, regular tribute. Very generous.
Surely you jest.
No, they're not interested. Over here, I have the Britons, and it's just the same situation again. Ceasefire, trade rights. I'll offer them 2 cities, regular tribute, just whatever they want, which is never enough. 1,000 for 15 turns, which is a ridiculous amount, as I'm sure you agree. Offer another couple of 1,000. Very generous. Map information as well.
Surely you jest.
Nothing. And they won't agree. I mean, that was literally... I couldn't make any more offers. That was literally the most I can possibly offer, and they won't accept it. Even Gaul down here. So as you can see, I've taken almost all of Gaul. And the actual faction of Gaul only remains in this settlement here in Spain. So you'd think that a ceasefire for them would be that would be pretty advantageous for them to take that. But yeah, it's the same situation with them. No matter what I offer them, they won't accept it. I can offer them all of their territories back. All of these territories I can offer them back, and they won't accept them. So basically, no matter what position you're in, no matter what the circumstances, you are rejected every time, and they never accept the compensation. This might not be a problem on lower difficulties, but even then, as far as I'm aware, having the campaign on a harder difficulty just gives each AI faction bonus money every turn and gives you a diplomatic penalty. So you might think, well, that explains it, but here's the thing. If the terms you are offering are considered to be generous or very generous by the game's own AI in hard or very hard difficulty, then surely it is generous or very generous with that penalty taken into effect, so it should still work at least some of the time on hard and very hard difficulty, especially with all the extra goodies on top. I thought maybe it's just this campaign that's bugged or just something's not working, but I have another campaign playing as the ghouls on hard difficulty and it's the exact same thing, the exact same problems. When you get a few turns in, diplomacy just never works. This is the main problem I've encountered, but it isn't the only one. Any other diplomacy other than trade rights and sometimes map information with any faction is almost always set to very demanding and is almost always rejected. Alliances, requests, whatever it might be, it doesn't matter what you offer, you can get it to generous, very generous, it's rejected. The only diplomacy that you can engage with is if another faction proposes something to you and you accept it straight away. But if you try and counter-propose it, to request some money or something else in return, so for example, someone offers you a ceasefire and offers you 500 gold for it, but you go back and say, I want a ceasefire and 1,000 gold for it, then it automatically resets it back to very demanding even before you have changed anything, and it's still the exact same terms you offered you. So they want a ceasefire and 500 gold, and when you click on counter offer and it's still the exact same terms, it just goes to very demanding and they suddenly won't accept it now. Even if you take away the gold, no matter what you do, they will not accept it. If you pay them, they won't accept it. So basically, allies, requests, whatever it is, it doesn't matter what you offer, it doesn't work. But yeah, that makes absolutely no sense. Why would they reject the exact terms that they offered you? It takes all the fun out of diplomacy because you can't do any diplomacy, you can't negotiate, you can't make treaties, you can't do anything. I can't remember what it was like in the original Rome, but the new compensation system is broken, the counter offers are broken, the whole diplomatic system is a bit of a mess. Maybe this is just a problem on the harder difficulties like I said, but even on hard or very hard you should still be able to use the diplomatic mechanics, because otherwise what is the point of having them in the game? It's a shame because up until this point I've been really enjoying Rome Remastered. It's very nostalgic and the battles are fun. But the broken diplomacy system is ruining the campaign, at least for me. I don't expect it to work every time, but it has to work at least some of the time. And I've tried it with different factions, various different scenarios. If this is a problem that you've encountered as well, or you've encountered similar problems, please let me know in the comments. And hopefully this will get patched in the near future. Anyway, that's it from me today. Bit of a rant. Take care. See you next time.